Here we go again, live and full effect. Welcome back. Let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another live episode of your favorite podcast. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Welcome back to Riffin with Griffin. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we back again, Riffin with Griffin. What's going on this episode? Let's see. I went to Dallas. I did some shows at the Improv. I had a Sunday show, so I couldn't do my podcast. I got in an early flight, so I was up super late. I was tired. I just woke up, and I got to do the podcast. I got to keep it going. I talk about my favorite show right now, Sex Education on Netflix. Big Brother 23 champ was crowned, and my new cartoon, 10-Year-Old Tom, is out. So we're going to get into all that. Once again, whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, yeah. Woo. Feel like the pipes are back in full effect. All right. What's up, everybody? Thanks for being here. Thanks for everybody that's live right now, watching live, and if you people are listening, you know, sometimes you got to catch it live. I don't know when. I don't really have a set schedule, but you know, when I do it live, I do it on Mondays. Like right now, it's Monday at 3:52 p.m. Pacific time. So we're a little late, but we're doing it. But before we get started, let's get into a little business. Liquid IV. I want to thank Liquid IV for sponsoring this episode. Grab your favorite Liquid IV flavors nationwide at Walmart, or you get 25% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code Griffin at checkout. That's 25% off anything you order when you get better hydration today using promo code Griffin at liquidiv.com. All right. Oh, wait. I don't want that noise. I hear some noise. Okay, there we go. That little thing what makes noise. Anyways. All right, guys. So, you know, I'm doing a new background every week. Well, every time I do it live, I have a new background. So I asked the fans out there, you guys, if you want to change the background of Riffin with Griffin. So we're someplace else today. We are at Will Peacock's house. I think that's his name, Will Peacock. I think it's on Instagram. It sounds like a fake name, but I think that's his name. So, Will, thanks for sending out the background. It's a beautiful house he's got right there. So that's going to be today's background for Riffin with Griffin. We're out at Will's place, everybody. So if you want to send a background picture of anything, don't have yourself in it because that'll just be distracting. But if you have like a room or you have a backyard that you like or you have some funny place you want me to be, send it in. You can send it to me on Instagram or you can even email me at eric@ericgriffin.com and I will put the background of my podcast when you're watching for the video on YouTube. You'll be able to see what it is. So that's shout out to Will Peacock. Thank you. And I'm looking at the chat live right now. We're doing what we're doing, guys. This is one of these last minute situations. I am prepared because I have stuff that I want to talk about. But when you're a one-man show, it's difficult. I mean, I can't get wigs in here because it's difficult because I was traveling and I just got back from Dallas. And remember, always catch me live every day, most days, on Erik Griffin Gaming on Twitch. Erik Griffin Gaming on Twitch. So make sure you guys check me out there. Let's see. Let's look at the chat. All right, chat. How you guys doing? All right, nobody cares. I see you guys, but actually the chat is too far over because I have to look to my right like this. And thanks for the super chats, guys. Appreciate the super chats. All right, all right, there we go. That's better. I can see the chat better like this. All right, Daddy's going blind. I don't know. It is what it is. I like doing podcasts. You guys like listening to podcasts. I'm doing, I've been doing a lot of King and the Sting, and I appreciate the King and the Sting fans that come out to the shows, and they come up to me at the shows. They love telling me, it's like, hey man, heard you on King and the Sting, So I'm like, all right, that's kind of cool. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Good fan base. So I appreciate the opportunities I got on there, and I appreciate you guys being here when I'm live with you guys. Got my Hero Mode hat on. That was a movie I was in with Bobby Lee, actually. Hero Mode. So make sure you check that out. All right, let's see. I also want to do I didn't have this ready, but I am gonna start doing this. My list of the week of bitching with Griffin, like the things that. What do I want to bitch about this week? It's just like things that come up and you go, even though they're little innocuous things, it don't matter. It's part of my brand. You bitching with Griffin. It's like when you check, you check into the hotel. What are they typing on the computer that's taking so long? Like, I have a reservation. You know I'm coming. What are you doing back there that you don't have this thing ready already? Like, why are you typing up a dossier on the computer, like you making a Facebook profile for me every time I check into a hotel? It's like, I have a reservation, put all that stuff in. I have an account with the hotel. You know what I mean? Like, if it's Marriott, you already got my information. What you writing? What you typing on the computer? You know what I mean? It don't make no sense, man. So I'm gonna have a list like that. My top 5 of the week. I'm gonna start doing that. Top 5 quick hitters of the week of things. And if you have your own too, if you think like, hey man, what do you think about this? This happens to me, and if I co-sign it, boom. It'll make it onto the podcast. So, it is what it is. I went to, by the way, so like Rachel and I are trying to plan this wedding. We're trying to plan this wedding. And I've got some people that have hit me up like, hey, man, I'll DJ your wedding. Or somebody else was like, we'll take pictures for you. Or so, we are looking for stuff like that, man. We're looking for if you want to be a part of the Rachel and Erik wedding experience and you have something to offer. You know what I mean? We putting it out there. It's like a GoFundMe, but not really. Man, weddings are expensive. So I don't know. Maybe there's some wedding venue out there that they want some pub, and they'd be like, "Oh, we'll do the Rachel and Erik wedding, and come to our villa, or whatever it is like that." That's what we're kind of looking for. But it is what it is. So, Rachel keeps asking me to talk about it, because maybe she wants some fancy wedding dress or some jewelry, or maybe she wants some hair salon that's going to be like, ooh, we'll do you up that day and do your makeup and stuff like that. So who knows? Whatever. Maybe you got a catering company and you're looking for some advertisement. I don't know. It is what it is. All right. Somebody in the chat keeps talking about the Cowboys, and we don't care about the Cowboys the way you care about the Cowboys. So if you keep it up, you will get a timeout. So that's how that works, son. That's how that works. Actually, that's how it works. I haven't given somebody a timeout in a while, in a few days. So there, he's timed out. Nobody cares. All right. So let's see. So I went to Dallas. I was in Dallas this weekend, and it's just, it's weird. Like, you guys, if you're not a person that travels and you're in your state, wherever you are, you've been dealing with whatever the COVID restrictions are in your place. And so you have your own perspective on like if you're in California, man, like we're here in California, sometimes I felt institutionalized in comparison to other places. But we don't know how it is in other places until you go. So I remember the first time I went out of town, I went to Arizona, and it was the first time I'd been inside a restaurant in a year. And they doing their thing, And so they had their restrictions. And, you go to Boston. I was just in Boston, and they have their thing. Then I was in New York, and New York is one of these vaccinated to get in places. So you have to deal with that. And then, I was in Denver, and it was the same thing. It was Denver was more some places you go, they're they'll have a sign that says if we suggest you use a mask, but if you're vaccinated, you don't have to. It's like signs read like that. And then there's other places where it's if you're indoors, you have to wear a mask, So, it's just a lot when you're traveling as much as I do. It's okay, so what weird thing is it going to be at this place? I mean, that's the thing. There's no consistency. So it's okay, so now I'm in a city that all right, so they care about it at this level, or they think it's okay to be like this, and then you're okay, so now you get at least when you're on the plane, it's all the same. It's when you're at the airport, as soon as you get to the airport, that's the transition. The airport is the transition place where it's everybody wears a mask no matter what, and then when you get off the plane and you walk outside that airport of wherever you are, then it's the new thing, And I always know, depending on who picks me up, if they have a car service pick me up and the guy comes to get my bag. And then he don't got a mask on. Then I'm okay, I know what kind of place we're at right now. This is a place where they're just okay, I wear a mask when I need to, and I don't when I don't, And then there's other places you get there, and the guy's got a mask and a face shield, and you're just like, all right, so now I got to be in the back of this car, He's worried about this, and it's case by case. But it's just weird, man. If you're not traveling, so you don't know. So you're just like you have your own understanding or anger or frustration, or you're just whatever you feel about it in your city, you're dealing with that. It's like, even though it changes in your city, but imagine like you travel someplace else and you go, well, I was just at a place where you had to do this. And this place is like, well, we do it this way. And it's like, how can so many different places treat the same exact thing differently? Like that's the freaking, that's the thing, man. You know what I mean? So I just don't know. It's hard to look at the chat, guys, so sorry. You know what I mean? If you got some nonsense you're saying in the chat, I can't necessarily, I'm a one-man show right now, so I can't look at the chat and, I'm doing a live podcast, okay, guys? So it's like, it's a weird thing, you know what I mean? You go to different places, so you just, you get used to it. It's just, like I say, it's just like, it's interesting is why I'm saying, it's interesting to like, go to a place and it's like, with the whatever the restaurant thing is. I thought Denver was more lax than some places I've been to, like in Texas, I really just depends on like how they're enforcing it. So like there are places that like, I think in California, they're pretty strict about like you walk into a restaurant, they want you to have your mask on, then they'll seat you at a table and then you can take your mask off. Some of these places, like you walk in and you could tell like, it's like, okay, some people have it on, some people don't. Some people are waiting, some people don't. They're waiting with it, without it. And so, you go and, you're just like, you're just kind of like, all right, where are we at with this? So it's like, when you're going some places, like when you're traveling, it's best to like, you just have a mask with you. And then you could determine like, okay, do I need this or not? Because sometimes I forget because I don't go out a lot. I just stay, like if I'm staying even when I go on the road, I'm not going a lot of places. I'm at the hotel, I go to the club, because I don't want to deal with all that. I just don't want to deal with it. A mask make me uncomfortable, so I do my part by staying away from people. So, it just depends. And then you have this thing too where like, some of the clubs are going, well, they're going to all vaccinated shows. And I don't know if they're doing that for safety, health and safety, or if they're doing it for liability, or probably a combination of both. It's probably a combination of both, really. I would lean more towards liability than any place else, even though it's just odd to me that, like, you're a person, you want to go out, you want to drink, eat, laugh amongst people, but you want to blame the place that you're going to because there's a global pandemic and you want to blame the place you're going to. I've talked about that before. I think that's ridiculous. I wish it felt like it was all about health and safety, but I could you get the sense that it's not all about health and safety. You get a sense that it's about, hey, we're trying not to get sued, which I just feel like it should be like, I don't know if you've ever been to like a taping of something, or like, let's say you go someplace and it's a big crowd and they're trying to record. Well, a lot of times they'll put a sign up that says, if you enter this building, you're agreeing that it's okay to be recorded. They have that there, and that's their catch-all for like, in case somebody's like, hey, I saw myself, you have to pay me, I think it should be like that for in a public venues where there's a lot of people congregating. I think it should be like you have an agreement. I'm saying I want to go watch this basketball game. I want to watch this comedy show. I want to watch this concert. I'm saying I'm willing to take the risk of getting COVID by going there. I absolve you, location, of any liability. I mean, that's what I think. That's what I think it should be. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just my feeling on it. But everybody has their own thing. A lot of people don't want to take personal responsibility for their own stuff, and they need to blame other people for things that happen to them. And if you're one of those people, I get it. Do you? You know what I mean? But that's just, that is what it is. So, yes, but I'll say Dallas was great. So everybody that came out to Dallas, I appreciate it. Saturday night shows were really great. That club is set up weird. It's like this long area and then a short area. But, it is what it is. Great crowds that came out to Dallas. Let's see where I'm going to be coming up here. I actually, oh man, this calendar actually isn't complete because I have some new dates coming up. Yeah, so I have the Arlington Draft House coming up, the House of Comedy in Vancouver, Side Splitters, and the House of Comedy in Edmonton. But actually, I just added like 3 more dates in between this. So I'm going to be at La Jolla Comedy Store, and I'm going to be at Miami Improv, and I'm going to do Flappers in Burbank. So look out for those things too, guys. Look out for that. So yeah. So that's that, and I'm still working on this ridiculous website. All right, so let's talk about some stuff that I wanted to talk about. Some stuff that's going on in my life. All right, the first one is the new cartoon. I was working on a cartoon during the pandemic, and it's called 10-Year-Old Tom. I don't know why that sex education thing keeps coming up, but anyway, I'm going to talk about that too. But 10-Year-Old Tom, guys, 10-Year-Old Tom is on HBOmax, and it's actually a really funny show. It's created by Steve, I would never say his name right, Dildarian. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but anyways, it's about a 10-year-old, but it's really adult humor because it's on HBO Max. And so HBO Max, it's not on HBO like it comes out every week. It's actually on HBO Max, the streaming service. So all 10 episodes are already out, and I play the coach. And there's like this, I didn't even realize how extensive the cast is, man. If you look at this cast, man, it's so Steve, the creator, who's created a bunch of other things too. Byron Bowers, comic buddy of mine. Look at that. Todd Glass, Edie Pedersen, myself. John Malkovich is in it, which I didn't know. Jennifer Coolidge. Like, look at all these people, man. A lot of great actors, voice actors, and even Santino's in it. Santino, he he plays he plays a couple of characters, I think, but he was this one character that was like my character is working at a Mexican restaurant, and he plays like the manager. So we had this great scene together. So that's like, look at all these people in this. So it's pretty funny. I like adult cartoons, I don't know about you guys. Or like cartoons that have like sort of like mature humor. Not like adult humor where it has to be like cursing and it has to be dirty or something like that. But I like the humor that's like, it's adult references. It's like if you think back to like, what is it? Like Shrek. Like, what makes a show like Shrek, a movie like Shrek, good? It's like, because, the kids see all the cartoon characters and all the stuff and the fun stuff that's happening, but they're making jokes that, you go, oh, that's for the adults that are taking their kids to this movie. And you could just enjoy it as an adult, as a kid. That's a hard balance to fill. But 10-Year-Old Tom this is really for adults. Like, kids can't watch this because there's cursing and stuff like that. The animation is weird. I didn't know the animation was going to be like that, but it's actually a specific style. If you're into that sort of, like, if you're into art that way, you might be like, oh, I really enjoy whatever that is. But it does have like a specific style. Like all the noses are drawn with the same thing, where this is from this world. It's great, man. I when I'm in something, the first thing I do is I go to it and I fast forward to my stuff because I want to see like how did this come out, and then I watch the full episode just to get like a taste of it. And the pilot of this episode is actually episode 1 is really funny. So if you have if you have HBOmax, go check that out. And I actually played 2 characters in the first episode, which I didn't really get credit for it. You don't see it in the credits, like who the character. I don't know. I have to play again, but I was like a pastor and I'm the coach. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to be a part of it, because then now I was looking at some of the reviews, and it's like people really like this cartoon. It's like getting a lot of really great reviews. So I really like that. Like on IMDb, it's got an 8 out of 10. I saw a lot of really good reviews. Actually, let's look that up right now. Reviews of 10-year-old Tom. Since we're on the fly, we could just look right here. Yeah, let's see. The Hollywood Reporter looks like it had a good review. Yeah. So it's like you have to just go down to the bottom, and it says 10-year-old Tom is well worth checking out. So after like 8 paragraphs of like talking about all this stuff, 10-year-old Tom is well worth checking out. That's pretty cool that when you're a part of something that people really like. I wish I can't show a clip because like YouTube will like ding it. I don't know why they do that, but YouTube will ding it. Also, by the way, there's something else I was in that I did it was for IBM, but it's like a ESPN fantasy football is really the product. I think I did a commercial and I'm in this commercial and they show me twice in the commercial. Like CeeDee Lamb gets hurt and I'm like at the doctor's office and I see and I hold my phone up like, does this look bad? You know what I mean? So that commercial's out. So make sure you check that out too. But I'm trying to think of like some of the cartoons that I really like. Like what are my top adultish type cartoons? I never was a Simpsons guy. I don't know what you guys think in what do you call it? In the chat here, thank you Robert Paul for the super chat. I don't know. I never was a Simpsons guy because I always felt like you had to like smoke weed to like the Simpsons, or just everyone I knew. Everyone I knew that smoked weed loved the Simpsons. So I just never really got into it. But I am a huge Family Guy, dude. I love Family Guy and I love American Dad. Those two cartoons are just two of my favorite sort of adult cartoons. Like you wouldn't necessarily let your kids watch those cartoons, And if you want to, I see people in the chat asking about a Squid Games review. That means you don't really listen to my podcast because I reviewed that last week. So that's last week's episode. I reviewed Squid Games. So if you want to take a look at that, go check that out. If you want to see what I had to say about that. All right, so let's go on to something else here. All right, I got to go to this. I'm doing this by myself. All right. All right, so let's talk about Big Brother. Okay. Let's see. Yes. So, as you know, I'm a huge Big Brother fan. And these are the final 3 from Big Brother. That's Xavier, this chick right here, Azza, and Derek Frazier, who's actually the son of great late boxer Joe Frazier. So, as I've talked about before, they had this alliance that they had an alliance that was all black. Okay, it was all black alliance. They came into the house, they saw each other, and then this guy Derek was like, why don't we have a secret alliance from day one? They had a secret alliance of 6. And they made it all the way to the end, and they crowned the first black African American Big Brother winner in the 20-something plus years of the show. So I don't care about that stuff anymore. Like I said last week, my feeling on this is they made it. If it was all white and 6 people started an alliance, no one would care about race. It would just be like these 6 people connived, lied, schemed, and got everybody else out. These people did the same thing. They formed an alliance. They just happened to be all black. It is what it is. They stuck together. They made it bigger than themselves, and it is what it is. So who cares? But the only thing I say now is that Xavier won. This guy on the left on the screen, Xavier, so it's 2 bald head black guys and Azza, the one woman, but like this guy Xavier, there was no way he wasn't going to win. The only way he wasn't going to win is if one of them won the HOH and kicked him out. But if he was sitting in the final chair, There's no way you could have voted anyone else the winner of the final 6 except for that guy Kai. And that's why the Xavier guy connived and got him kicked out. For you people that don't watch Big Brother, it's like, this competition show, and they have to like do these like athletic competitions. They have to do these like brain competitions against each other and to like, gain power in the house. And then they have the ability to nominate people to get kicked out. And it happens all season. And it gets harder when it breaks down to the final people. So it was these 3 left. And there was just, to me, no possible way. I mean, the guy won so many competitions. He won the brain ones. He won the athletic ones. He was sitting next to this other guy, Derek, in the final. They were the final 2. And this guy, Derek, didn't win one competition all year. And why didn't he win any of them? He didn't win any of the athletic ones because he's a fat guy. And, I felt for him. I was like, damn, I would love to be on Big Brother, but I know I can't do these endurance competitions and all this stuff. I would have been the first one out of that stuff too. So but that guy made it to the final 2. But here's the problem with it though. So if you're someone out there being like, well, look, the fat guy made it. So here's the thing though. You have zero respect for how he made it because you see this other guy, all the things that he won. So the only reason why you would pick the other guy, because what happens too is like the last 9 people to get kicked out of Big Brother, they're the jury that decides who wins the game. So they're the ones that are in there, they got lied to, they got kicked out, they built alliances, they had friendships, and they're the ones that have to decide, all right, we think you should win. Like, we think you should, win because of this. And sometimes it's been bitterness. Like, I've seen seasons. There was a season where this guy, Paul, he was on the show 2 years in a row, and he lost. He came second 2 years in a row. But the second time, I felt like he played the Big Brother game the best, got to the end. But the thing he messed up on was jury management. The people that he sent out, they hated him. So when there was the final vote, they voted against him because they hated him, because they were bitter bitches, really. That I thought, ugh, is this how the game's going to be played? But you know what? That's all part of it. Like, Big Brother's Big Brother. Like, one thing I didn't like about this, like, the final part of this season is like, so this other guy, Kai, he's all like, he thinks that, well, we should play with honor, and, if there's more things more important than money, and, because he got kicked out, he got blindsided. I thought it was so stupid because it's like, yo, dude, this is the game. This is what you sign up for. You don't sign up for a game and change the rules to suit what you think it's going to be. Like, if you're saying there's things that are more important than money, then you know what? Don't be on the show, because this show is about money. This show is about being the last person standing and you win $750,000. You know what? You played with honor. You left with 0. No one is sitting out here going, oh, man, that dude that didn't do the line and scheming that everybody's done for 23 years to make it to the end. That guy, he's the real winner. Nobody's saying that, dude. No one is saying that. It was actually a stupid thought process, and I can't stand it. All those people that think like that when they go into Big Brother, when at the end they're like, I just wanted to play the game the right way, or I just wanted to, like, I didn't want to have people hate me, whatever the nonsense you're thinking. The true Big Brother fans know that's how you play the game. It's manipulation, lies, deceit to make it to the end. And if you're not on board with that, what the hell are you doing in the Big Brother house? Somebody tell me. What are you doing there? So I'm sorry. That guy, to me, came off as just ignorant, misguided. It just was stupid and misguided. So, I don't know, man. I'm already getting pictures. Somebody already sent me a picture of their living room. All right, nice one. So that I might use that one next week. So if you want to send a picture, you can email me at eric@ericgriffin.com. You have a picture you want me to send of your office, just anywhere, anything funny too. If you just have something like just super hilarious that you want to be the background of my podcast, go ahead. But anyways, yeah, man, this Big Brother it was an interesting season, but it was just so anticlimactic. And I often wonder, like, what were the ratings? I mean, we often make everything about race. So I wonder if there were people who were like, I don't want to watch this, or how do people really feel about it? Like we're the true Big Brother fans. Like, what do you think about this? Could you divorce yourself of like having to think about politics and race and everything? Because like that's all there is, I mean, I'm a culprit of that sometimes too, but I'm analyzing things and I'm talking about it like this, but the macro view of it is it's still like, oh well, unfortunately everything boils down to politics, race, religion, and things like that, and it just sucks. I can't stand when that gets in the way of like, hey, we just want to say, how do we feel about this season? What do we think about these people that like they formulated this great plan, they manipulated everybody and made it to the end? Like, can we just celebrate that, or do we have to always think about it in this like sort of like, oh man, there's a social thing about it? I mean, I just hope we can just get past all that stuff one day, because I feel like we're in a state right now that we can't even like, like you're not allowed to dislike something just for the sake of like, hey, I don't like this. Hey, I think this is bad. You know what I mean? Like, I think this is bad. I don't like it. So, it's like there's a show on HBO called Black Lady Sketch Show. That's the name of the show, Black Lady Sketch Show. I mean, do you think HBO could ever cancel a show called Black Lady Sketch Show? You think they could cancel that show? Like, what a brilliant name for a show. It's so it's like that is how you do it. Come up with a name for a show that if they cancel the show, people will be like, oh, you're only doing this because they're ladies, because they're black, because they're, it's like, I just think if that was the thought process in naming that show, like, kudos to you. But yeah, I'm a huge Big Brother fan. I don't like a lot of reality shows. I'm not like big on like there's very few that I really watch. Like these kind of like these type of reality competition shows. I've never watched Survivor. Well, I guess let me think about it. Like, I love 90 Day Fiance and those type of shows, but that's not necessarily a competition show, but I haven't watched them in a while. And then I like Naked and Afraid sometimes, or like any of those kind of survival, like, but my only problem with it is when they're doing this survival thing, I can't get past the fact that there's a camera crew there, Like, I like the one where the dude is clearly filming himself with a GoPro. And like, I like that. Like, they tell, like, it's like you get a sense that he's out there by himself with a GoPro. And if he makes it back with the GoPro, boom, then here's the show. But if he doesn't make it back, like, what are they going to do? Right? So, I don't know. I don't know what that one's called. Anybody know what that one's called? It's like Survive or something. I don't know. But I don't like a lot of reality shows. But Big Brother's my one. That's my guilty pleasure. I love Big Brother. Big Brother. All right. Before we go on, we got to pay some bills, everybody. We got to pay these bills. Can you pay my bills? Pay my telephone bills. So let's get back to it. Liquid IV, everybody. Liquid IV. You need those. I don't know what to say about Liquid IV other than like it's pretty good. They sent me some and I used it and I really liked it. It's got a good taste to it. It's like one stick of Liquid IV is 16 ounces of water, hydrates faster and more efficiently than just water alone. You get the electrolytes. They got great flavors, and it's just like, that's what you need. I mean, I'm at an age where I got to drink a lot of water because I got a lot of things I need to hydrate, or are they going to get dusted up? So it's like good for like if you're going to start working out, you're going on a walk. That's the thing. You take the first thing in the morning, or you take it when you're about to do a run, because daily hydration and maintenance is super important. If you're a drinker, Liquid IV is great to help you get over a hangover. That's what I don't drink, but that's what I hear about Liquid IV. They got great flavors. They got lemon, lime, strawberry, watermelon, passion fruit, guava, pina colada. They got immune boost, tangerine. I mean, they got this great. The optimal ratio of glucose, sodium, and potassium delivers water nutrients into the bloodstream. I mean, Liquid IV does the job. It's kind of, it's like, it's a good cost, as opposed to like buying those like electrolyte drinks. We won't name them. This is a better version of that because you're controlling it yourself. Grab your favorite Liquid IV flavors nationwide at Walmart, or you can get 25% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code Griffin at checkout. Guys, that's 25% off anything you order when you get better hydration today using promo code Griffin at liquidiv.com. Check that out, guys. Also, a sponsor of the show, once again, is BetterHelp, guys. BetterHelp. You know how I love BetterHelp. I think therapy is super important right now. A lot of things in our life interfere with our happiness. And it's good to talk to a professional therapist who will help you organize your thoughts, help you pinpoint the causes of why you're feeling the way you're feeling. Therapy sometimes has a stigma, and I'm telling you, we need to break that. It's like you're not crazy. You're not whatever you think you are just because you're talking to someone. Like when you talk to a professional therapist, and that's who you get here, they're going to help you understand why you're feeling the way you're feeling. And that's the thing that we don't understand. We think that we do. And then you talk with this therapist who might be like, well, this is like, because they've seen these patterns before, and they'll pinpoint it, and you'll be like, oh, I didn't even think of it like that. It's not going to solve your problem. It's just going to help you get through them, man. They help with depression, stress, anxiety, like relationship stuff. You have anger issues. You got family conflicts. You got self-esteem issues, LGBT matters, sleeping, trauma, whatever you think. It's convenient, it's confidential, and it's for you. I cannot stress enough. Therapy has helped me, and I'm telling you, it will help you. In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp recently that they are recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. This isn't self-help, it's professional counseling. Now, I want you to start living a happier life today. As a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/Griffin. Join over 1 million people who take charge of their mental health. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Griffin for 10% off your first month. Start living a happier life, guys, today with BetterHelp. All right, we paid the bills. We paid the bills, y'all. I got to work on my green screen. Like, I'm the light or something. It's like I mess with it. Maybe it's because of that blue in the chair. I don't know, man. It's just like, it's so frustrating. But anyways, all right, what else do we want to talk about? Oh, yep, I see it. We wanted to talk about this show. All right, so I'm going to finish off with this show. It's called Sex Education. Sex Education on Netflix. I don't know if anybody's seen this show, but let me look up the IMDb. Yeah. Sex Education on Netflix. I just started watching this, and they got 3 seasons. So I'm only on season 1 right now. I'm just on season 1. But it is actually a really great show. Really great show. I don't know. I see people in the chat, they're asking, like, are you in your living room? So everybody that's joining the chat late or joining the podcast late, and people listening right now too, and if you want to check out, if you want to watch on YouTube, please do it. Erik Griffin podcast. I couldn't get Riffin with Griffin for some reason. It's so weird. I'm still working on it. But anyways, if you want to send me a picture, because Rick Glassman got on me. He was like, yo, man, you had that black background. I want to be a part of what you're doing. So can you put some, show me your environment. So I thought, what a better idea is, like, you guys show me your environment. Where do you want me to be? Where do you want me to be doing the podcast? So if you send me a picture of your living room, your kitchen, your bedroom, your bath, I don't care what, if it's a funny picture or if it's a good looking picture, it's going to be the background of an episode. And this one, the one I've been using today, is from Will Peacock. He sent it to me on Instagram. So thanks, Will. But anyway, let's talk about sex education. Sex Education, really great show. Let's look at the cast. The cast is really. Oh wow, look at that kid. He looks so different right there in that picture. Look at this. Look at this picture. Yeah, the main guy who plays Otis, Asa Butterfield. He was actually in Ender's Games. He's actually in a lot of movies that I don't know why the movies don't do well. you know what I mean? Like he's actually been in a bunch. Let's look at his IMDb. Oh yeah, he looks so different right there. But he's been in a lot of movies, man. He was in Hugo. He was in Ender Games. He was in, this is I think his biggest hit is Sex Education. Let's see. Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff, man. He was in the Journey's End. He's in a lot of like sci-fi stuff. But he's a really tremendous actor. I really appreciate his acting. And he's really good in this. So Sex Education is about this young sort of nerdy guy. You know, he's like a nerdy guy, and he lives he lives with his mom and his mom's a sex therapist, you know. Let me move out of the way so you can see him. There he is right there. Nope, right there. Pow. So he plays Otis, and he, is this kind of like really weird, kind of, socially awkward guy who is living with his mom, who's divorced, and she was a therapist, and her ex-husband was a therapist, and I think they're like sex therapists, and this, you see how this has affected his life, and whatever. And I won't spoil it. And he goes to school with this kid, this kid right here, who plays he plays a guy named Erik, but his name is, I don't even know how to say his name, Nukati Gatwa. And that dude is hilarious. He's playing his gay best friend, but the dude is a really great actor, and he's so funny. And then that girl is like his like love interest in the show. Her name is Emma. Oh, she looks so different. Her name is Emma Mackay. She plays Maeve in the show. I think the whole cast is British, and I think it's filmed in Europe. It seems to be. And so anyway. He goes to school. And he's not a popular kid. Him and his buddy are just not the popular kids. You know what I mean? As you can imagine. But he like has picked up some like real good common sense. Like he's got like his own segment. It would be like real world advice from a nerdy teenager. Like that's what his podcast would be. What he would do, and it's actually really good. So he ends up giving like sex advice to his peers. And this girl that plays Maeve, she sets up what she calls the clinic, where these high school kids pay him to give them advice. And it's also about the stories that are going on, how their lives unfold, and the unrequited love and all this kind of stuff. But if you're into like British humor, it's very biting, and it's but I find it to be funny and very smart, edgy humor. It's a very smart, edgy show. It's very sexual, but not in a gratuitous way. It's very much like a really good example of how, what you're feeling when you're a teenager, when your body is changing, when you don't know anything about sex, you don't know anything about the opposite sex, and you're just kind of like, what is this about? I don't know. What this show is, I don't know who I am, and what kind of sexy person am I, or can I do sex well, or whatever it is like that. This show really explores those young teen angst feelings. So I do highly recommend you watching Sex Education. I'm still on the first season right now. There's 3 seasons on Netflix, so I'll continue to talk about it as it goes on. Like last week I talked about that show Counterpoint, and it was great. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it ended great. So I'm not even sure if they're going to do another season of Counterpoint with J.K. Simmons. Is that his name? Yeah. I don't know if they're going to do another season or not, but they did tie it up really nicely. So I don't know if anybody's checking out Counterpoint, but make sure you check that out. And again, last week I did review Squid Games. So check out episode 153 if you want to see Squid Games. And I did a total spoiler recap of the movie Voyeur last week. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to pick another. I kind of liked doing that. I just want to pick a really terrible movie that I watch, and I just want to recap it on the podcast. It just of all the little crazy moments, because it was like, I actually going to pick a Bruce Willis movie because, man, I don't know if y'all know, but Bruce Willis is in a lot of terrible movies, man. Like, the movies you wouldn't even think. Like, I'm on an airplane, and I see some space movie, and I'm like, what is this? And it's like, oh, Bruce Willis. You go, okay, what's this about? And man, you just go, how did he make this? How did he make this? Just terrible. So I might find another good movie to recap. So did anybody in the chat watch Voyeur after my thing? You know, did anybody watch Voyeur on Amazon? You got to watch it, man. Even though I spoiled the whole movie, you have to watch it for yourself to see how crazy it was, you know? So anyways, just to recap, you know, Big Brother 23, Xavier won. I mean, it just was so anticlimactic because he was the only one that could win. You know, it's just like he deserved to win and he won. You kind of want to see some changes to it. You know what I mean? And then make sure you check out 10-Year-Old Tom on HBOmax. That's the cartoon I'm in right now. It's getting rave reviews. People are really loving the show. I don't know if y'all have seen it. You know what I mean? If you've seen it, let me know what you think about it. It's actually really, really interesting show. You know, it's really funny. 10-Year-Old Tom. It's just, you know, it's really adult humor, so it's really for that. And then also Sex Education. So make sure you check out Sex Education on Netflix and let me know what you think about that too. I think, like I say, I think it's a really interesting show, a good coming of age story. I don't know why we love those kinds of stories, especially when it's like teens, you know, because you kind of look back and you feel nostalgic about like, oh man, I remember when I felt that way and how did I get past this? And there's a lot of great relationships on the Sex Education show. Between, you know, father and son relationship. There's a lot of good father and son relationships on Sex Education, actually. Yeah, you know what? That's actually a really cool theme that's going on in the show now that I think about it as I'm talking about it right now. There's a lot of like all different types of father-son relationships and how your father's actions affect who you are. So that's, yeah, oh, wow. It's going to make me look at it in a whole different way. So make sure you check that out and let me know what you feel about it. All right. Yeah. So I don't know. And once again, I'm gonna be on Erik Griffin Gaming. I'm about to get on Erik Griffin Gaming after I put all this stuff together. The audio version of the podcast. You know, I'm putting that up as we speak. You know, so probably if you're listening to it, that's what I was doing. So like I have to record this live, and then when I end it, I got to download the file to get the audio, which I should have just recorded the audio myself anyway, right? And then it would already be ready to go. But you know, it is what it is. You know, then I had to do like a premium version, which is like on the audio place that I do my podcast. They want a version with no ads, so I have to take the ads out. So it's like a little bit of editing I got to do right now for the next like 20 minutes. But I enjoy doing this. They're not always going to be live. I have some guests lined up, but I just got a lot of stuff going on, you know. So I just have a lot of stuff going on, but. Next week I am going to be gone. I'm going on a destination wedding. Well, my buddy's getting married, and I won't tell you who it is until after. But we're going to a destination wedding, Rachel and I, and, you know, so we're leaving on Wednesday, and we come back on Sunday. So once again, I'm probably going to have to do a live podcast version again, and I'll just probably be talking about the wedding and my feelings on destination weddings. And so you will do that, you know, and then, you know, like I say, I am on Twitch every single day. I probably won't be all next week because I'm going to be doing, the wedding. But, you know, thanks for listening to Riffin with Griffin. You know, thanks for, you know, all your support. I really appreciate. A lot of people came up to me in Dallas and they were like, yo, man, you know, you helped me get through the pandemic with your podcast. I love hearing that kind of stuff. There was this other kid, too, that man, he was like, he works at the club, and he came to me and he was like so nervous, and he was like, hey man, you know, I just really want to thank you for what you do. You inspired me. And he was getting emotional, and I didn't even know what to say. You know what I mean? You don't know how you affect people. I mean, unfortunately, like sometimes, you fixate on the trolls out there because they just suck up all the energy in the room. But I do recognize all the people out there that are just genuinely touched by the podcast world, and like, and how you feel like you know me because of the things I say here, and you want to just come up and be like, hell man, I really appreciate what you do. I'm just letting you know I appreciate you too, and thanks for being here once again. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Riffin with Griffin. All right, guys. I will see you next week. This has been episode 154, Riffin with Griffin.